Hey guys, this is Nick from the DFS Bros. We are sitting here ready for the first full slate of games from the NBA 2020-2021 season. I just want to give you guys some 5 quick tips to make sure your season is successful this year for the NBA. So the first one is going to be very simple: stay water. What that means is don't drown, don't get too deep into anything without missing pivotal news. The NBA is completely different than the NFL, MLB, and any of the other popular sports with DFS. MLB, we know 2 hours before the game uh, who the starting lineups are. For NFL, we know an hour and a half before the game kicks off who was inactive. For the NBA, they give us 30 minutes. So really that last 30 minutes is very crucial before lock to make sure your lineups are set and make sure you have good lineups. So NBA is not really a sport where you can set it and forget it. I mean, if you do have to reserve lineups and something does come up, we all have lives, things like that. It's fine. Just make sure you have a lineup in there that you think, oh, this player can't be a late scratch. I don't know why they would. Things like that. So just stay water, keep up with the news throughout the day, look for value, things like that. My second tip for you guys is figure out where it works for you. There's a few strategies for NBA DFS. My two personal favorites are studs and duds, which basically means like a min-max type of thing, stars and scrubs. You get 3 or 4 high-priced guys, and you get 3 or 4 min-priced, very low-priced guys. You are basically looking at the opportunity that lower-priced guys are getting. So let's say Anthony Davis is out and Montrezl Harrell is for some reason in the 4,000s because AD's been on a tear. Trez hasn't been doing that great, hasn't started, things like that. And Montrezl Harrell is automatically in the starting lineup, and at a very cheap price, he should pay off. He should do well. Some other examples last year: Joel Embiid, whenever he was almost 10,000, Al Horford came in around the 5,000 price range and would have fantastic games. So basically, just like if a starter's out, look at his backup, see if their backup is should be in line for a big game and play them. Another strategy for lineup construction is just playing it even. DraftKings gives you $50,000 to play with, 8 positions. You get just a little bit over 6,000 per player, 5,000, 6,000 per player. So maybe you just get a 7,000 price guy that you like a lot. Maybe you get like a 5,000 guy price that you like. Just make it a very even lineup on guys that you know can get you that that get you the min cash. There's a lot of differences in both of these strategies. Kirk and I both like both, and it depends on the night, depends on the slate, and things like that on which strategy that I use for that any given night. A third tip that I have for you guys is don't burn yourself out. NBA season is a long season. Usually it starts in October and goes until June. Now we're starting in December and going until June. Basketball is every single night. Basketball will burn you out. The average start time for the NBA games is around 7 o'clock. The time you have to do that crucial homework and things like that to make sure you have a good lineup is time that most people are spending time with their families and things like that. Don't let DFS and fantasy football get in the way of that. Make sure you are setting aside time to do other things that you enjoy. If you see a slate you don't like, just set it out. Unless you are doing this professionally and doing this as your career, don't burn yourself out, because basketball is such a long sport, such a every night. Don't let other things, don't let DFS get in the way of other things going on in your life that are more important. Take a few days off every now and then to get yourself reacclimated. If you play 7 days in a row and you don't cash any of those days, take the next week off, reconstruct your thoughts, think about things, look at the slates. Don't necessarily play them. Just take a step back sometimes and look at the bigger picture of everything for DFS and life, and don't burn yourself out on DFS basketball, because in the long run, unless you're making life-changing money, is really not that important. My fourth tip: minutes equal money. With that being said, I rarely will ever play a guy that's playing less than 25 minutes in the game, unless for some reason they are a min-price guy, and I think they will get like 18, 19 minutes and will be able to pay out that min price. Make sure you have guys who are very high in points per minute. I rarely try to play guys under 1 point per minute. It's uh, it's not beneficial for you. Make sure you're looking for guys who can 5x. Um, for the NBA, I think you're really looking for 250 points or 250 points to 300 points on any given night to cash. And to win the big tournaments, you're really looking for 350 to 375. So you need anywhere from 5x to 7x to do well on a NBA slate. Make sure you're looking for players that can get you that amount of points. My fifth and final tip is don't be afraid to take some risks for DFS. Um, this goes for every sport, not just NBA. If you see a player you like and you're looking up different people like me or Kirk, or you see popular guys not touting these players, don't be afraid to not play them. If for some reason, let's say you like who's a player? I'll just use Ben Simmons as an example. I'm a Sixers fan. For some reason, you think Ben Simmons is a fantastic matchup, has a chance to have a fantastic day, but no beat writers talking about him, no DFS touts talking about them. Don't be afraid to play him, because if you have him at 3 to 5, 10% owned, 90% of people don't have him. And let's say he does 6x, 7x, and has a good night, and you're in the green and nobody else is. I think you had a good night. So just to reevaluate my tips again. So just stay water. Don't don't get logged behind in the news. Figure out what strategy works for you. Don't burn yourself out. Minutes equal money, and don't be afraid to take risks. Make sure you guys check out mine and Kirk's Twitters. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell us comment and tell us some of the tips that you have for us that I didn't mention for NBA DFS. Kirk and I should be here at least maybe 2-3 times a week for fantasy basketball. Y'all have a good fantasy season. Trust the process. Go Sixers. Y'all have a good one.